Nelson Mandela's life is a testament to the power of resilience, courage, and leadership in the face of adversity. Born on July 18, 1918, in the small village of Mvezo, part of South Africa's Eastern Cape Province, he was given the birth name Rolihlahla, which means pulling the branch of a tree, or, metaphorically, troublemaker. His early life was deeply rooted in the Thembu royal family, with his father, Gadla Henry Mafakanyiswa, serving as a local chief and his mother, Nosekeni Fanny, being his third wife. Mandela's early years were marked by a profound connection to his Xhosa heritage and a strong sense of justice. He began his formal education in the nearby village of Kunu, where he was exposed to the rich oral traditions and stories of his people. These formative experiences left an indelible mark on his character and laid the foundation for his future activism. In 1937, Mandela embarked on a journey of education, moving to the Clarkberry Boarding Institute for his junior education and later to Healdtown, a Wesleyan secondary school. At Healdtown, he excelled academically and became involved in various extracurricular activities, displaying leadership qualities that would later become instrumental in his role as a political leader. In 1939, Mandela took a significant step in his educational journey by enrolling at the University of Fort Hare, the only residential center for Black South African students at the time. He pursued a Bachelor of Arts degree, a choice that aligned with his burgeoning interest in social justice. However, his time at Fort Hare was marked by both academic exploration and personal growth, as he was exposed to diverse ideas and movements, further shaping his commitment to equality and human rights. Despite his promising start at Fort Hare, Mandela's academic journey faced a challenge when he was expelled in 1940 for participating in a student protest against the quality of food and other issues at the institution. This expulsion served as an early testament to his willingness to stand up against injustice. Following his departure from Fort Hare, Mandela moved to Johannesburg and began studying law at the University of Witwatersrand, where he continued to explore his passion for justice and equality. His experiences in the bustling urban environment of Johannesburg exposed him to the stark realities of racial discrimination and inequality that were pervasive in South African society. In Johannesburg, he quickly became aware of the political activism against apartheid that was gaining momentum. He joined the African National Congress, ANC, in 1943, a political organization that sought to challenge the apartheid regime's oppressive policies and champion the rights of Black South Africans. As his involvement with the ANC deepened, Mandela completed his law degree at the University of Witwatersrand, qualifying as a lawyer. With his partner, Oliver Tambo, he opened a law firm in Johannesburg in 1952, providing legal assistance to those affected by apartheid policies and fighting for justice in the courts. It was during this time that he began to make a name for himself as a capable attorney and a vocal advocate for civil rights. Mandela's involvement with the ANC coincided with a shift in the organization's strategy. In the early 1950s, the ANC embraced nonviolent resistance as a means of opposing apartheid, organizing protests, boycotts, and strikes. Mandela's legal background and persuasive skills made him a valuable asset in this nonviolent struggle. He became increasingly prominent as a leader within the organization. By the early 1960s, as the apartheid government escalated its oppression of Black South Africans, the ANC faced increasing limitations in its peaceful resistance efforts. In response, Mandela, along with other leaders, decided to establish the armed wing of the ANC, known as Umkhonto we Sizwe, or Spear of the Nation. This organization engaged in acts of sabotage against government infrastructure, avoiding direct harm to people, but aiming to disrupt the apartheid state. Mandela played a pivotal role in the formation and leadership of Umkhonto we Sizwe. In 1962, he left the country for military training in Algeria and Ethiopia, returning to South Africa with a commitment to armed struggle against apartheid. The decision to resort to armed resistance marked a profound shift in Mandela's activism and placed him on a collision course with the apartheid government. In August 1962, Mandela was arrested and subsequently sentenced to 5 years in prison for his involvement in anti-apartheid activities. This was the beginning of a long and tumultuous period of his life in and out of prison. While serving this sentence, he continued to inspire and mobilize resistance against apartheid both within and outside the prison walls. Mandela's imprisonment didn't quell his resolve. In fact, it further solidified his commitment to the anti-apartheid cause. He became a symbol of the struggle for justice and equality, and his international profile grew as people around the world called for his release. As a Black political prisoner, Mandela endured harsh conditions, forced labor, and limited visitation rights during his incarceration. Despite these hardships, he remained unwavering in his dedication to the principles of the ANC and his vision of a non-racial, democratic South Africa. While imprisoned, Mandela was also put on trial for his role in planning sabotage against the apartheid regime. The Rivonia trial, as it became known, resulted in a life sentence for Mandela and several of his co-accused. In his famous statement from the dock during the trial, he declared, "I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal that I hope to live for and achieve, but if need be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." Nelson Mandela's imprisonment spanned 27 years, the majority of which he spent on Robben Island, a notorious prison off the coast of Cape Town. Robben Island was a place of harsh conditions, backbreaking labor, and brutal treatment, but it also became a crucible for Mandela and his fellow prisoners. In that confined and oppressive space, they forged enduring bonds, educated themselves, and continued their struggle against apartheid. Mandela's imprisonment took a heavy toll on his personal life. He was separated from his family, including his wife, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, and their 2 daughters. The family faced immense hardship and personal sacrifices as they, too, became targets of the apartheid government's persecution. Throughout his imprisonment, Mandela's global significance continued to grow. The international community rallied behind his cause, demanding his release and the dismantling of apartheid. The image of Mandela, the political prisoner, became a rallying point for anti-apartheid activists worldwide. Finally, on February 11, 1990, President F.W. de Klerk announced Mandela's release from prison. It was a momentous turning point in South Africa's history and marked the beginning of a new chapter in the country's struggle against apartheid. Nelson Mandela's release ignited widespread celebrations and hopes for a more just and democratic South Africa. It also marked the start of negotiations between the apartheid government and the ANC to bring an end to apartheid and transition the country to majority rule. In 1991, Mandela became the ANC's president and played a leading role in negotiations with the government to dismantle apartheid and establish multiracial elections. These negotiations culminated in the signing of the National Peace Accord in 1991. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel.